Hello, you're listening to Daily Downloads with Better Days Healing. I'm your host, Lizzie, and today's message comes in hot and heavy, but it's one we need to talk about because so many of us are walking around with a wound that didn't start with us, but it's bleeding all over our lives. Let's talk about the father wound. I'm talking about the emotionally unavailable, passive-aggressive, praise withholding, tantrum-throwing man babies we call dad. I'm talking about the fathers who they either blew up or shut down. They played favorites, especially when the favorite was a boy, who groomed their sons to be great while teaching their daughters to be grateful they existed. These men wanted athletes, doctors, soldiers. They wanted sons to live out their broken dreams, and they used money, guilt, and ego as weapons to shape them. But when the pressure cracked those sons wide open with addiction, depression, rage, they were coddled, enabled, financially supported while drowning. But what about the daughters? The ones who built the careers, bought the houses, broke the cycles, showed up every single day without applause. We weren't just ignored, we were emotionally starved. Any achievement was politely acknowledged, then replaced by a 20-minute slideshow of our brother's Year 10 sporting highlights from the 2000s. And yet we're the ones they expect to understand, to stay calm, be the bigger person, to still show up at Christmas and say, "It's okay, Dad, you're the best dad ever." And worst, they expect us to parent them emotionally. These are fully grown men who never learn how to regulate their own feelings, and so they treat their daughters like little therapists. They want us to listen, coddle, manage their moods, tiptoe around their outbursts, because at the core, they are emotionally stunted children in a grown man's body, and they rely on their daughters to do the emotional labor they refuse to do for themselves. But here's the truth. We weren't born to be our father's babysitters. You are not his emotional sponge. You are not responsible for making him feel okay about how much he's failed to show up. But why does this happen, you ask? This wound is generational. These fathers were never taught how to love without conditions. It's like their idea of worth is power, achievement, and control. And because of their own father wounds, they confuse nurturing with weakness and dominance with love. So it's like they recreate the only pattern they know. Praise the son who mirrors them while ignoring the daughter or daughters who surpasses them. And here's an added twist. If your parents are still together, the mother often enables the cycle. Why? Because she has a father wound too. She may have learned that keeping the peace was safer than speaking up. She may have watched her own mother go silent. She may believe it's love to defend her husband, even when he's actively dismissing her daughter. So what does she do? She excuses the tantrums, justifies the favoritism, and quietly betrays her own daughter to avoid rocking the boat. You'll hear it in mothers when they're, "Oh, that's just how he is. Oh, don't start drama. Oh, your brother's going through a lot right now." She learned to survive patriarchy by placating it. And now that wound gets passed down again, wrapped in family dinners and awkward silence, and their daughter's just pretty much not wanting to be around them. So why does the mother favor the son? Sometimes it's survival, sometimes it's projection. Sometimes it's because her own soul hasn't healed the part of her that longed to be chosen by a father. So she chooses the male child instead, hoping to recreate or fix that dynamic through him. Now here's where the soul work comes in. We don't just end up in these roles by accident. Our souls incarnate into these families for a reason. Often the daughter who receives the least is the soul with the most ancient wisdom. She chose this family not to be punished, but to break the chains, to rewrite the code, and bring healing where silence lived for generations. Your soul knew it could do the work, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. You came to change the story. Daughters who rise without applause are some of the most powerful healers on earth. We carry the ache and we alchemize it into fierce independence, emotional intelligence, soft strength, and a refusal to raise another generation this way. So if you're that daughter who sat at the table and listened to your brother's drug rehab story for the third time this year while no one asked how your business launch went, this is your validation. You are not crazy. You are not too much. You've just been unseen for so long, it started to feel normal, but not anymore. And here's a reflection question for you today. Where has your father wound shaped how you love, achieve, or abandon your own worth? And are you ready to stop performing for approval that's never coming? Just sit with that, let it rise, and know that the answer will always come to you. You've been listening to Daily Downloads with Better Days Healing. I'm your host, Lizzie, and I see you, sis. Your success matters, your story matters, and healing this wound might just be the biggest rebellion of all. Until next time, stay strong, stay soft, and don't ever let them convince you that silence is love.